What's going on, guys? Wei from Grail Watch. First, may I wish you a really happy new year.
Happy New Year, guys. We've got a new watch to unbox.
Yes, so
First of the year.
Indeed. So thank you so much for joining us. This is a collaboration that we are so excited about. It is our second collaboration with Alain Silberstein, and it's a watch that is also a collaboration with two of my favorite people in the watch industry, Carlos Rosillo and Bruno Belamich of Bell & Ross.
Okay. I think you guys are going to go bananas over there.
Well, I mean, so and if they do, it's because of the genius of these two amazing guys, Bruno and Alain. But so when I first approached Alain Silberstein to do a collaboration with him, I remember asking him, Alain, who would you like to work with in the watch industry? And he said, Wei, there's two brands I want to work with. The first brand is Ressence, Benoit Mintien's, because he comes from outside of the watch industry like myself. And he's brought a unique vision to watchmaking. And so that resulted in our very first Grail watch, a watch that was launched last year in March. It was a Ressence times Alain Silberstein themed around Memento Mori, which is about time passing as well, and kind of a reminder of our mortality.
And it's called Carpe Diem, to seize the day.
Indeed, sir. And that watch, did relatively well for us. It sold well, and its secondary values are quite strong, right? But at the same time, I remember when asking Alain, well, who's the second brand that you'd like to work with? He said, I want to work with Bell & Ross.
Why is that?
Because he considers the BR01 and its offshoot, the BR03, to be one of the most iconic watches of our millennium and of modern horology. He told me he thought the idea of taking an aviation instrument, an altimeter or a clock or what have you, and using that to define the codes of a wristwatch was absolutely genius. So, and if you look at it, 18 years after it was launched, because it was launched in 2005, that watch continues to be such an enduring icon. And it was funny because he created a watch called the iChrono. I don't know if you remember that, around 2009, 2010.
No, I don't quite remember.
It had a square base and kind of a round case, but it looked a little bit like an instrument as well.
Right.
And he said that when he was designing that watch, one of his greatest struggles was actually not infringing too much into the iconography that had been defined by Bruno, because that watch was so cool already and so perfect already. So anyway, guys, I remember I approached with Carlos Rosillo and I said, listen, Alain Silberstein would love to work with you. Is that possible? And Carlos immediately said to me, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. He actually said, I don't see how this would work, because Bruno has a very specific vision in terms of design, and Alain clearly has a very specific vision in terms of design as well. So I don't see how these two great artists will be able to work together.
So how did you convince him?
I told him, I talked about music. So I told him, Carlos, if you look at the history of music, so many of the best albums have been created through two artists with very different styles, which when they come together create something that's almost like greater than the sum of their parts.
Right.
That there's a dynamic contrast there, but there's something that complements each other as well. And I gave him two references. The first one was Johnny Hartman and John Coltrane, which is one of my favorite albums. And then the second one is Linkin Park and Jay-Z, which I absolutely love as well. And if you guys haven't listened to that album, please do, or both of those albums. And what's really cool about the Linkin Park and Jay-Z
Collision Course,
right? It's actually, there's a surprise concert where they both show up as well, and you can actually watch it on YouTube. Okay, so now let's get to the watch as well. So then we organized for Alain and Bruno to meet, and we still didn't know if this was going to work or if this watch was going to come into fruition, but it was almost like they were long lost friends. And soon they started talking, laughing, kind of riffing on each other's ideas. We were in this beautiful restaurant called St. James Palace in Paris, and they started to sketch on the napkins and so on like that. And before we knew it, there was a whole bunch of watches that were arrayed before us. It was almost like seeing something quite miraculous being born. And so I just sort of stood there in sort of silent awe. And eventually they kind of looked at the watches and they said, okay, now we can realize that we can collaborate. Now we need to choose what we're going to collaborate on, because there's quite a few different designs. But they couldn't make up their minds. In the end, the three competitors wore a time-only watch, which was the sort of most pure distillation of both of their design languages. A chronograph, which was a maximalist interpretation because there were so many hands, right? And finally a diving watch, which was crazy because I never thought of Alain doing a diving watch as well.
I don't think he's ever done one.
I think it's his first diving watch, actually. And so in the end, Carlos was like, it's clear that we need to do all three of those watches. So
this is why the box is so big.
So this is the Alain Silberstein and Bell & Ross Trilogy. So the first thing I want you to look at is that incredible symbol.
Primary colors,
right? So A and S times, and just the ampersand for Bell & Ross, and then the box is so cool. So this is a box that comes for watches 1 to 50, which are sold only at sets of 3.
Okay.
Right? And so I want to
I love the primary colors, you know,
Yeah.
red, yellow, blue on the outside.
And then let's see, I'm going to ask for your help a little bit to
Sure.
like get this out because it's quite challenging. To,
Oh, and hold on to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
really nice.
Exactly.
Matte painted.
So then you've got
Box.
the same box with the ampersand and times ANS. And then there you guys go.
We need some drum roll and music.
And I have to say, I was just absolutely blown away by the results. So obviously, it's a riff
Wow.
on the BR03, which is a smaller size BR01, 42 by 42 in terms of diameter. The idea that Bruno had is like, let's be as pure with our design language as we can be. So he wanted to make a sort of Zen reductive version of a BR03.
Okay.
Everything blacked out in black ceramic, black dial, and just the barest of expression. And that he thought would be the perfect canvas for Alain to play with his sort of like incredibly colorful hands. So let's start with the time only watch, which is right here. And so I think that that's kind of the watch that I would say that we initially conceptualized, because this watch is, of course, about these two design languages coming together. And you see the iconography of the BR03, the square case, the screws, you know, the indexes that are very Bell and Ross, and then on top of that, you've got Alain Silberstein's hands. You get these massive, and actually, I've never seen these hands in particular, and certainly not in this size. I didn't think he was going to do something quite so massive, but I love that huge red circle. It's the hour hand. I love the blue arrow, this oversized blue arrow is the minute hand, and then the continuous seconds hand is this yellow serpentine hand as well. And it's just a really cool watch.
I want to check something out because you see the hour hand is so big, right? Let's say if we adjust the time,
Right.
does it perfectly frame the logo of the?
It does
kinda
actually.
does,
Yeah.
no? Yeah, that's so cool.
Well, actually, you know, it's really cool because the chronograph has many hands. So let's take a look at that watch. And I love this watch in particular also because when you look at it at the side, you already know something special, because when you look at the pushers, you can see one's yellow, one's blue, and then you've got an enamel triangle for the crown as well. And as you can see, you've got the maximum of Silberstein hands on this incredible case as well.
Yeah.
So you've got a continuous seconds indicator with it's got a little yellow arrow. You've got a minute counter for the chronograph, which has got the blue triangle. You've got the large hands that you have here as well, and of course now the serpentine hand in the center is in fact the chronograph seconds hand.
Okay.
But it's funny because I'm kind of a maximalist, and I have to say I absolutely love that watch. But then at the same time, I think that that's the most iconic of the three.
I'm definitely a minimalist.
But that having been said, the Diver I think was a watch that took everyone by surprise because it's just so cool. So the great thing about this watch was Bruno and Alain decided, like, if we're going to make this, guys, we have to make a diving watch that's truly functional. And in order to do that, Alain had to come up with a whole new set of hands. So on screw down crown, of course, because it meets all the ISO requirements of an actual diving watch. And they kept the dial super pure, and on top of that, they put these all new Alain Silberstein hands. So he's got this massive, luminous dot for the hours, and it's got this massive, oversized red, arrow for the minutes as well.
So you will never mistake it if you're timing a dive.
Exactly.
And you can use it for a dive.
And you can use it for a dive also. So what's really cool also is they did a 2-color ceramic bezel as well. And I love these markers for the last 20 minutes as well to help you aid you in your decompression stops as well. And you can see there's a luminous dot every 5 minutes as well, ending with the 0 marker, which is yellow. But the watch is just incredibly cool. So I also want to show you this, Jeremiah. So I have my handy dandy light. Look, check that out.
Oh my goodness.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just amazing. And so you see all the last 20 minutes, every marker is luminous for the bezel. And then you've got this, I mean, that oversized arrow you absolutely cannot mistake, right? So
these are luminous as well.
They are indeed, sir. There you go.
Show everyone the chrono as well.
Yeah, I love the luminous signature of these watches. And of course.
That's so insane. This is kind of a blue tip here.
Yeah. So guys, that's our collaboration with Alain Silberstein and Bell and Ross, the trilogy that's laid out before you. We are so immensely grateful to these incredibly talented human beings that have decided to bless us with this collaboration. So thank you, Alain, thank you, Bruno, thank you, Carlos. We really, really appreciate it. Let me tell you a little bit about the watches in terms of the numbers we're making of each piece and the price. So the time only watch is going to be made in 200 pieces. As I said, numbers 1 to 50 will be in a box set of 3 watches. It costs $4,400 US. The diving watch will be made in 100 watches. Again, 1 to 50 will be part of the box set of 3. And it costs $5,600. It's also 300 meters water resistant. It has a screw-down crown. It's like all of them is ceramic, and that's the first time Alain's done a diving watch, and it's completely unique hands as well. The first time he's made those. And finally, the chronograph is also made in 100 pieces. Numbers 1 to 50 will be in the box set of 3, and the watch costs
$6,700.
$6,700.
Incredible value for like a ceramic case watch.
I mean, yeah, you know, to me it is. I mean, that's one of the things that's really important to us also, is to continue to give good value to our customers. And that's it, guys. You know, we want to also thank you so much for your patronage. During the launch of the Ressence and Alain Silberstein watch, there was some customers that were dissatisfied with the way that we handled that. There were some technical gaffes. There was quite a few people who were left wishing that they were able to buy that watch, and in the end, they could not. So we reached out to the community and said, listen, guys, please send us your contacts. We'll let you know when we do our next Alain Silberstein collaboration, which is now these watches. So we will reach out to every one of you, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, so if in the next couple of days, if for whatever reason we haven't reached out to you, and you feel that you're in danger of being omitted, just email us or DM us
at shop@grailwatch.com.
Yeah, there you go. All right. And yes, I just wanted to say, Watch fam, we really appreciate the amount of support you've given us. We know that we couldn't be doing this business without you. So really, thank you so much.
And we're doing our best to make the next purchasing experience
And we are doing
better.
our best to make the next purchasing experience better. We know we've had some teething pains, but we're trying our very best. So guys, thank you so much. I want to wish you an incredible 2023.
What a way to start the year with.
Exactly. Peace, guys.
Bye. Take care.